Goeiemiddag mense. Let's top dress some alem. A little bit noisy next door, so I'm going to do this mostly without chit chat stuff. Just watch it. Okay, I thought I'd be a little bit conservative, but I think that's too little topsoil. It's quite a bit, but I'm not getting any coverage. So I think let's just go thick on this, and I'll be your guinea pig as to how thick you could go on alem. Let's see what happens. Alright, there we have it. That is a good thick layer. I wouldn't say it's as thick as the backyard is, but it certainly is thick. It might be a problem, but who knows? Let's just see what happens. I'm going to monitor that over the next week. I'll put some pictures up on Instagram, see how it goes. I just realized I forgot to take a photograph of what it looked like before, but whatever. The next thing that I'm going to do is water this in, because I think that I want to get whatever nutritional value is in that topsoil in the ground quickly, let that grass grow out as fast as possible, and yeah, hope and pray for the best. And that's what I've got left after that. So I used a lot more soil than I thought I was going to. So this is 6 days later. I would say we're on the road to success because I went quite thick. I was a little bit concerned even during the week. I just made sure that I watered it sort of every second day, and when I watered it by hand. Well, I don't have an irrigation system here anyway, so it's either sprinkle or by hand, but I went for manual watering so that I can try and sort of wash in as much of the topsoil as possible. You can see the areas that I went extra thick on is here where I had this sort of weird drop off, and that is quite thick because I'm trying to get that grade right. And then over here I just went thick because I needed to test the theory a bit further. And you can tell in areas where not all the topsoil has worked its way down into the canopy, it's kind of, you can see the grass is kind of trying to lift it up. There's a good example for you. See that if I just break it through, I'll be able to get some of the grass that's beneath this to stick its head back through, and that will help it out a lot. So what I'm going to do now is give it a mow at a moderate height. Don't want to put any extra pressure on it, but I do want to clean it up, make it look nice and tidy. Then I'm going to run over it again with the lawn leveler, and then we'll see how that looks. And if I need to sort of brush in any other areas, I'll take a broom and just work that area to the extent that the grass comes back out through the topsoil. Obviously I don't want to mess up the contours and the grade and whatever else that I'm trying to achieve by having done this in the first place. So if I feel like I'm going to start coloring in some areas that are just going to make me another hole, then I'll stop. That must just get smothered, and I'll let that grow back through again, because that's the objective. I want this smoother. But all in all, I'll say that's a success. I'm top dressing alem. It's not even the middle of the season, it's the beginning of the season. So theoretically speaking, if you did this later in the growing season or in the middle of the growing season, like the middle of summer, you will have an even better chance of success when trying to top dress alem. I cannot say, because there are so many people that say don't top dress alem, I cannot say that this is going to work for everyone. Where I think people make mistakes is the type of top dressing that they put down. So a thick unsifted compost is going to be a problem because it's going to smother the grass. This is a sandy topsoil, and because of that, well, and also it's mixed with chicken manure, so because of that you're going to have a feeding element and a growing foundation for this. Sand is not a growing medium. It helps with leveling, but it's not something that your grass is going to choose to grow in by itself. So sand top dressing may cause more of a smothering effect if you go this kind of thick. So I've chosen growing medium, which is topsoil, sand, silt, clay, and seems to have worked. Anyway, let's get mowing. Okay, the grass is still a bit too wet from last night, so obviously the soil is stuck down. I can't move it around with the lawn leveler. So at about midday, lunchtime, after lunchtime, I'll come back with the lawn leveler and the broom and start working on this again. That's what it looks like after the mow. I think that's pretty good. Hello, Milo. Actually, while we're still talking about the technicalities of top dressing alum, this is what an alum runner or stolon looks like. So the runner under the ground is called a rhizome, which is what Kikuyu and Bermuda has, but not LM. So it grows these little nodes off of its stolon, its runner, and that's what taps into the ground and forms a root system. Generally a very shallow root system, but some really established alum lawns can host or boast a really nice dense root system. And in some cases, if you sculpt this, the rest below the ground will be so strong, or may have been so strong, that you might get recovery. Mind the car going past. But generally speaking, if you sculpt alum, the reason that it says cheers is because the root system is often not strong enough, or you don't leave enough of the top left behind for it to regrow. Now, in the case of top dressing alum, you never really want to go more than just onto or just over the runner. So this is called the crown of the plant that comes up like that. So where it starts from the runner, it grows this little bunchy looking thing over here, and this stuff that's hanging on is called thatch, and that then grows this little shoot over here, and this grows more runners, and that's what forms the turf density in the case of alum. So theoretically speaking, you never want to go too far past, if this thing will focus. So you see where between my fingers are there? You never want to completely submerge the runner and or too deep into this crown area. So you don't want to do like that, but something like that little space between my fingers, come on, that's fine. It's kind of the rule of thumb there. Oh, and one more point. If you pull these guys out and then you put them back on the surface of the soil like that, bury them if you feel like being more adventurous, and then you take a little stone. Oh, look, there's a weed. You take a little stone, I'll get rid of that guy another time, put a stone on top of it, like that. This guy will take to the ground, if you keep it moist, and regrow you some new Kikuyu. So if you've got a nice dense Kikuyu lawn, and you've got bald patches, like maybe let's use this as the example. Here where the trees were, the palm trees, if I go and put these guys in the middle and plonk a little stone on them like that, or even just get this root into the ground and cover it, and the same for the one at the back over there, like so, that guy stands a pretty good chance of forming a new plant and covering that area even quicker. There's also another trick for this, and that is to go find yourself a stone or a brick, and you chuck it in the middle of the ball area like this. This actually double up on this effect right here, so we'll do that. And what I've found, this is not scientifically proven, this is just Travis proof over here. I found that grass, in the case of Kikuyu and alum in particular, and Bermuda, when you put down a stone like this in these bald patches, the grass, for whatever reason, tends to grow towards it. Don't ask me why. It could be because under the stone you generally find that moisture gets trapped there, and maybe the grass just somehow knows that, or maybe it's attracted to the heat of the stone as it picks up during the day, picks up more heat during the day. I don't know, but this tends to work. So I'm going to do that now. I'm going to plonk a stone here, another one in the middle of that little hole over there, and another one in the middle of that little hole over there, and let's see if the grass eventually grows towards it. There we go. We'll monitor that one as well. Yes, like it actually went really thick. Well, we'll soon find out if I've won or lost. All right, much later in the day, it has dried up quite nicely, but I do feel like it's settled about as much as what it can, so the level is not going to be much use now. I'm just going to take the broom, maybe a rubber rake, and just sort of loosen up all of the sort of dense topsoil areas, just to try and see if I can get some more of that grass to stick its head up out of the surface or over the surface. and then that's about that. All right, that's it. I'm just going to give it some water, and that's about that. So if you guys are going to try to do this, rather don't go guns blazing like what I have. Choose your battles carefully. Rather go with light layers more often until you achieve the result that you're after. Don't just take a chance by dumping a whole bunch of soil on your LM and think that it's going to be okay just because you saw that mine was okay. If your lawn wasn't as established as this, you might be looking for trouble. And remember, I didn't scalp the hell out of it first. I just gave it a normal short mow. All these things added together equals the result that I'm now achieving. So play it on the side of caution, if that's the right term. And yeah, just rather be safe than sorry. Anyway, thanks for watching. Please remember to like, subscribe, share this with your buddies, and we'll see you whenever I make the next video. Cheers.